champions, it's Angelina Jolie. Enjoy listening to The Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve. It's always the highlight of my day, and I had sex with Brad Pitt. It's saying a lot, guys. Enjoy the show.
I think that does say a lot. Thank you, Angelina Jolie, and welcome to The Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve. Back at it again, another podcast.
Yeah. If you squint a little, I think both of us kind of look like Brad Pitt.
Yeah, I always feel like I really look like I'm from the neck down, and that's good enough for me.
That's right. Yeah. Hey, welcome back to the podcast. Our website is thevocalminority.net. There is information there. There's links to all our social medias, and that's really where the party is happening, both here in the full podcast. But yeah, the social media is TikTok and YouTube. Both of those channels are growing nicely for us, and we thank you all for being part of that. And keep it up. Share, comment. We respond to pretty much everything, and we love to see the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything else the interweb seems to have for us every day.
That is true, Steve. We have a comment line you can call. You like something about the show? Don't like something about the show? Have a comment otherwise to add to the show? 844-48-VOCAL. Use your telephone as a microphone. Be a champion and get vocal with the vocal minority.
That's right. And we've been saying that since somewhere around the year 2000. Nick and I have been radio broadcasters for 25 plus years. And this show started off in Seattle as a call-in talk show, the vocal minority were the callers. We always did topics and discussions. And we were syndicated at one point. You know, we were young dudes. And now, technically, according to the calendar, Nick, I guess we're getting older. I just don't see that in my mind's eye. But I'm starting to get to that realization, you know?
I don't know if I should look. We've had some discussions over aging over the last 2 years, and you've been a little shying away from a lot of it because you don't want to believe it, you don't feel it. I'm wondering if I should feel good that I've opened you up to reality, or if I should feel bad that I have beat you down into submission, to be an old man, which was not my intention.
I think you should feel good about it. We are not old men, okay? 48. I mean,
yeah.
The other day I had this realization that I think I am now the adult man that I always was looking forward to in my teens and 20s, where like I'm a full-grown man, I got a beard, some gray hair, I've got a home and some toys to play with. Like, I think this might be the prime of our lives right now. I also had the realization today, Nick, and I don't want to bum you out, but there's more life behind us than there is ahead of us.
Oh, I've thought about it, dude. I mean, unless for some odd reason, I don't think I'm living to 90. I don't even think I really will live to 90.
Yeah. We'd have to live to be like 96 in order to have as much in front of us.
Yeah. No, we are at the second stage of life, dude. That's what I've been trying to open your eyes to a little bit. And it's not a bad place to be. Yeah. When I get up, do I snap, crackle, and pop a little more than I used to? Do I have some issues? Yes. But I have so many more great things, like you were saying, like stability, like a little money in my bank account, friends and family that I've cultivated long-term relationships with. Like, I feel like I'm in a good place.
I agree. And I think we are relatively cool, badass, late 40-something-year-old dudes. I hang around a lot of other parents, and I'm not trying to pump us up here. The other dads that are in our age range are not as cool as us.
I've been at a couple of places talking to other people that are near my age and thought multiple times, like as the person was talking, shoot me in the fucking head with this conversation.
Yes, for sure. I mean, whether it's a dirt bike riding or hosting a crazy podcast, going to concerts, just being into hip things, dressing hip. I mean, I know the kids won't think we're quite as cool, but we are some pretty badass, middle-aged white dudes. And this is sort of a prime of our life things. I think we should embrace it.
Yeah. Also, I like the fact that I've aged to a certain age of not giving a fuck, really. Like, if you don't like it or you don't think what I've got going on is great, like, I don't really care.
Yeah, for sure. And I am dating the it's the other realization. I've been having a lot of realizations of late, and they've all pretty much been good. But I am dating someone who is our age. I mean, she's a couple years older, but we were all in high school together, so we're all in that sort of 4-year window.
Sure.
And I think there's tremendous benefits to that. She's badass, and I think this is a time to embrace what we're at. This is maybe the peak of it all. We got this like little 10-year plus or minus window going on. And yeah, so if this is old, then I'm all for it.
Dude, I talk to older people that are 65. Okay. Well, even my brother at 60, like he'll tell me all the time, like, do it now, dude. Go travel right now. Go do the things you want to do right now, because you're at the age where like you're still in good physical health, and it's going to get harder to do those things. Like, this is the prime. Get out and enjoy it. And I feel like we're doing that.
For sure. That's the other thing. I'm banging like a 19-year-old porn star or something. I mean, I am still trying to live the best years of my life, and so far so good. And clock keeps ticking, and I think we're doing all right. But I do have kids that are, I think they're Gen Z, but
yeah,
there's always the struggle of each generation kind of looking down their nose at the one before them, or the greatest generation or whatever it has been doing it to us. We're doing it to the millennials. Millennials are doing it to the Gen Zs. Like,
okay, boomer.
Right. And what's Boris, by the way? Are you up on that one?
Boris?
Yeah. Okay,
no.
So now we're going to sound old. I've been seeing this in the comment sections a lot. Some people have called me it, and then I've seen other people calling conservatives like, okay, Boris.
Boring old rascal. Are you a boring old rascal?
Is it an acronym? That's actually a good question. But look, kids, I know how to use the internet, so I'll just look it up.
Keyboard hasn't changed in years.
Let's see here. What does it mean if someone calls you Boris? It is said to signify battler, warrior, short, wolf, heavenly, godlike, and success. That can't be what it means.
You wish that's what it means, dude.
Okay, here it is. I don't know what that definition was. Here's the right one. You're right, though. It's an acronym. Wow. Boris stands for buy online, return in store. That doesn't make sense either. What the hell?
Sure it does. Yeah, that's a great way to describe a certain age of people. Like, you are still hip enough to shop online, but you go and return it in the store. Like, that's my mom. That's my mom who buys a lot of stuff online and returns in store. But that's not our age.
Yeah. I may just be digging us in a hole here. Here's another one. Boris is a person of Russian descent. That may make sense in the world of politics. But
sure.
Boris is the ultimate underdog. I just hear millennials laughing their ass off at us right now.
I think you had it right. Buys online, returns in store.
Why would that be an insult for my political views?
Well, because we're old, dude. We're of that certain age.
Okay. Well, let's just accept that. I found an article from the Huffington Post written by Claudia Santos. This is basically, like I said, the generations are always rivaling, but they've come up with a list, and apparently this was cultivated on Reddit, of things that our generation and the millennials actually agree on. That maybe we might feel like we're old if we complain about some of these things, but apparently the generation right below us has our back.
Okay, they can understand. They can almost, in a way, relate to these things and don't think they're ridiculous.
Right. So I guess the point is, if you've been thinking or feeling any of these things, you are still young, cool, and hip, and shouldn't be made to feel like these are old man things. All right?
Yeah. All right. I got it.
Okay. First one on the list. People listening to music, videos, a phone call, or whatever out in public without headphones. That sounds like an old man thing. What are these kids and they're all their tic-tac and YouTubes and I can hear them like, put on some goddamn headphones, kids.
Yeah, that's just common respect. I mean, that's just decent to put some headphones on. I don't want to listen to what you're listening to. I want to listen to what I'm listening to, and I'll put headphones on for it. It's just like I get into arguments with people all the time of like, don't walk around the grocery store talking on speakerphone. And I've heard so many times, like, if I had a person with me, I'd be having a conversation with them. You wouldn't mind that. Be like, it's just different, dude. I don't want to hear your phone call. It's loud, and I don't want to hear it.
It's the modern day equivalent of the dude that used to walk around with the boombox, just cranking his music, and everyone was forced to hear it. Or the guy at the beach that's got his radio cranked up, and you're sitting right there next to him, and now you can't have your radio on because it's all competing. Like,
yes.
Now this does sound like an old man complaint, but no, I agree with you, Gen Zers. Or now the millennials, I agree. Like, it's just common sense and respect. And why do you want us hearing the other side of your phone call? Why do I have to hear what you're listening to on TikTok? Like. No.
Yes. Yeah. No, I'm glad they have her back on that because that is a real complaint that I hate.
Yeah. And headphones have come a long ways. I'm still wearing and love my traditional old school headphones, but What are those earbuds you're wearing? You got little in-ear things, right?
Yeah, they're just in-ear things, just because I don't want to ruin the art that sits on my head, so.
Yes. It's funny, I actually wear it for a similar reason. I feel like this always puts a baseball hat on if I have headphones on. So.
Okay.
But I still have a full head of hair because I'm young and hip. So.
That's right, yeah.
All right, moving on down the list here. These are things that may make you feel old if you complain about them, but the younger generation agrees with us. Quote, I hate downloading an app for every frickin' thing. I'm not clogging up my phone just to get one baseball ticket or whatever. Email me a frickin' PDF of the ticket. I agree. Everything has become an app-based, and I can't tell you how many one-off things somebody wants me to download an app for, and I just feel like, no, I don't want another frickin' app on my phone. You can't give me this information any other way. It's not a website, something.
The thing that sucks is because, I go and I download the app, and then, I'll go check the storage level on my phone, and I'll realize, you have like 6 gigs worth of only apps on your phone. Like, they add up a lot faster than you think, and it is a pain in the ass. Again, that's just common decency. Don't clog up my phone. I don't need it.
A lot of people say that porn helped develop the internet, that they drove the technology. And all I will tell you is the porn sites I use, none of them are app-based. They still have websites you go to, so I shouldn't need to get my baseball ticket from an app either. I think you can follow the lean of porn, right?
Yes, I think that is a great point to make, Stephen.
Yes. Porn will show us all the way.
If they build it, you will come. They told you that.
That's a double entendre, kids.
Oh.
Next one on the list. All right, these are complaints may make you feel old, but the millennials agree with us. And I got to tell you this one. New car headlights are too damn bright.
It does make me feel like an old man, dude, to have all these complaints. But they are. I mean, it's really hard to see.
They are too damn bright, and I don't understand why. I have a relatively new Toyota, and it's like 2020 or 2021 or whatever. I get flashed all the freaking time when I don't have my brights on. It's just my regular beams, and people flash me all the time. It does distract you and blind you to some extent, like it's no fun because you're not expecting and they flash you. But I've gotten to the point where if I'm on a dark road and someone comes up on me, either I'll intentionally go up and down so they see I'm on my dims, or I just keep my hand on my brights. Because as soon as that fucker flashes me, now I put my high beams on. Now I'm really blinding him. Now, not only does he know he was wrong, but now I'm going to send him off a cliff.
Dude, I do the same thing, and I've oftentimes had thoughts of like, what an idiot I am that I'm blinding him to Kareem into me head on. Like I don't want you to see, you fucking asshole.
Good point. I didn't think of it that way. I assumed they just swerve the other way.
No.
The funny thing that happens sometimes though is they flash the brights, and so I flash my brights to show them, no, I got my low beams on. And you know what they then do? They flash the brights again or put their brights on permanently.
I've had that too.
Right. Like, what do they think I'm up to? Or do they get it and they just want to blind me? Because then I put my high beams on permanently too. Now I'm outshining you apparently. So now we're just trying to, have a head-on collision with each other.
Right, exactly. I mean, that's what the end result is going to be at some point. But like, I get it. It pisses me off when they do it too.
You're a little more of a car guy than I am. Are these like halogens or something? Like, why are they so much brighter?
Yeah, they're called HID lights, and they're just made to be really bright so you can see. And I don't know why regulation hasn't been put on them for oncoming traffic. Like they're too bright.
Yeah. The other kooky thing my car has that I had to find in my manual how to turn it off, it has automatic bright lights. So if you're on a road and there's no car in front of you, it'll turn the high beams on for you. And in theory, if another car approaches, it sees it and turns them off. The epic problem I have is if it's not a straight road, if you're not going head on towards each other, if there's any curve to it, it turns my high beams on and off. And now it's making me flash a car. It's going to get my ass kicked one of these days.
Yes. My car doesn't have it. A rented car doesn't have that. And it worked great about half the time,
Right. Otherwise, you're looking for an ass kicking. And I don't get it. So yeah, I had to turn that off. I'll handle this one, car. I'll determine what I
Yeah, I'm still capable of moving my fingers. I can do it. That's funny, dude. Yeah, I do complain about those all the time. In fact, I got a special pair of glasses because last time I had my eyes checked, I had to get different reading glasses, and she was like, "I'll make you a pair for driving that'll like really help with all those halos and bright lights and everything like that." And I did get a pair of glasses. It doesn't really seem to help me too much, but I was hoping it would.
Interesting. Well, it's a common complaint out there, obviously. So, and I don't know what the right answer is. I don't know if the car industry is going to figure it out, or if we should all just stop flashing each other. But yeah,
I don't think they're going to do anything about it because everyone likes their bright. I love my bright headlights when no one's around. Like I love to be able to see. I live in a dark neighborhood, no street lights. I love my bright lights. But I'm also in a truck, so I'm up higher. So people are always flashing me because my lights are right in your eyes,
It's true. I do have a lift kit on my Toyota, which is unusual, but I can't imagine the 2.5-inch lift I have is making that much of a difference.
2.5 inches make a big difference in the bedroom, dude.
Yes.
Come on. Don't be down on 2.5 inches.
Yeah. In some scenarios, you're right. 2.5 makes all the difference. So.
Yeah.
All right, continuing our list here, things that may make you feel old, but the millennials agree with us older folk. This is an interesting one. The assertion here is not everything needs to be recorded or photographed and posted online. Like sometimes you should just live in the moment.
Yes. I'm at that age, dude, and I don't know why. Rachel and I have a difference on this. I don't know if it's just we're two different people or if it's a man-woman thing or what, but there's often times where we're like at a concert and she's recording, and, there's been plenty of times I've said to her, like, just put it up here, dude. Like, just relax. Let's watch the show, but she wants to have it on record. I don't know why.
Yeah. So Bill Maher has been a favorite of mine for years, but Bill, since 2020, since COVID, has rapidly aged and become this old man screaming on the front porch. And, he's right on a lot of stuff, but he's become a very grumpy old man kind of thing. And I hear him talk about this a lot. And he lives in Southern California. So he's always like, all these tourists, they're just taking pictures of everything. And he's framing it as this is a new age phenomenon. But wasn't the sort of stereotype of a tourist always that they had like 100 cameras around their neck and were taking pictures of everything?
Yes. Yeah, it is because everyone's got a camera in their pocket, so like that's part of the reason it happens. But I do feel sometimes that you should just be in the moment. Like, let's just remember this one together. But I take all the love on of all those things she records. 2 years later, when I see it, I'm like, oh, I'm glad you recorded that,
Yeah. I think like with a lot of life, it's about balance. I think it's good to capture moments in those special things because, the moment is right then and there. You're going to think back on that moment for years to come. So if you have a picture or video, it's going to put you back in that moment. Obviously, you don't want to spend your entire concert or your kid's graduation with your, phone in your face. I think you can blend a little, hold it down, snap some pictures, and then enjoy the rest of the song or whatever. I don't want to shame people for trying to capture moments that might mean something to them. But maybe the people that photograph every meal they take, everything they see, like maybe that's going a little too far.
Well, dude, like my niece, she just turned 12, okay, like a month ago. Like, I can't tell you how many times I catch her with her phone and she's like got it like 2 feet in front of her holding it and she's like giving peace signs and making faces. And I'm just like, what are you taking pictures of yourself for? Like, that's just so strange to me.
It's also a sign of the times. Like, that is socializing now. So,
yeah.
Do you have anyone in your life that takes pictures of every meal?
Not of every meal, but Rachel takes pictures. Anytime we get something that she thinks like, ooh, this is going to be good, dude, she'll take a picture of it and put it on Facebook.
Yeah, I guess I do see a decent amount of food pictures from you guys. What a couple of girlfriends back. It was such a habit that every goddamn meal, the plate would come down, whether it's something we cooked or you're at a restaurant. I just knew, like, lean back, get out of the shot. She's going to take a picture of the food.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little much because those, I can tell you, I will not look back in 4 years and be like, I remember when we had pasta, dude. That was awesome.
Yes, that is a good distinction, actually. So, moving on down the line, things that might make you sound old to complain about. But I agree with this one here. Please give me a real menu. I understood that during COVID that we weren't allowed to touch menus anymore. But there are so many restaurants that have just stayed with that. Scan the QR code, and the ones that make you download an app, I refuse. I will not download an app so that I can get your freaking menu. So we're combining two of these points on this one right here.
Yeah, so what, you walk out, oh, I will not eat here?
No, I asked for a menu because you goddamn know you've got them around.
You've got a few laying around. Yeah, you're right. I like to have a menu, but I also understand that that's something that was left over from COVID. And, you've worked in the restaurant business. Like, that menus are a big thing. Not only do you have to clean them, but you have to, make sure they're organized. Like, it just takes something out of the job and, saves you a little bit of money, I guess.
Yeah, and updating menus is a major pain. I'm sure we've all been to restaurants where they literally cross something out or put a little piece of white tape and write over top. It is expensive to reprint all of those menus, so making it digital, makes it easier in their world. But yeah, you got to offer both if you're going to even go that route. But yeah,
it's almost like the grocery stores, right? They are making us check shit out now. Like, I understand the theory behind it, but again, you're putting more work into me. Like, I got to go chase the menu down. I got to do my groceries. Like, I guess that's the way things are going, dude.
It is. There are some restaurants in this area that no longer have table service. You QR code your menu, you go to a counter, you place your order, the order comes up. It's a sit-down restaurant, but no one comes to your table. No one takes your order. You can go ask for their help, but they don't come to you.
Do they bring it to you when it's done?
Well, so one of them does, like they give you a number, then they find your number, just drop it off. But you can't ask the person for anything else beyond that. They're just, and part of that is because in California, there was a thing forever where waitresses or waiters would be paid like $1 an hour because the tips make them much more money. But California got rid of that, where you have to pay the minimum wage. So some of these restaurants are like, I can't pay you $15 an hour plus all the tips. So I'll pay you the $15 an hour, but now you're not a waiter. You're just a helper. So you sit behind the counter, they'll come to you, And,
right. That sucks, dude. I think you need I think you need a server.
Yeah, in a lot of scenarios you definitely do.
Yeah.
And the self-checkout lines, those bother the hell out of me. I feel like, am I on the clock now? Am I getting paid for this?
I don't mind them. If I got 6, 7, even 10 items that I can just put in a bag real quick, I'm fine with it. But when I have a cart full of, 40 things, I don't want, it's a tiny space. I don't like it.
Yeah, I do that too. A couple items, I'll do the self-checkout, mainly because the lines are too long for the regular, but I don't know. That gets into maybe the humans could speed it up a notch or hire more humans or whatever.
Yes.
But yeah, for a ton of items, no, the self-checkout is ridiculous. And I got guilt tripped the other day. It set off some little trigger alarm, and some woman came over here, and she's like, the last 2 items you scanned didn't scan. Like, you're trying to get away with something here? Like, they had this inference that I was trying to shoplift. And I was like, it beeped both times I did it. And the one was like, oh, no, it does that sometimes. It beeps. It just doesn't register. It's a software glitch. Let me just approve this. I'm like, why are you coming at me like that then if you know this is a glitch? And what the hell kind of software is this? If it's
yeah, you better fix that real quick, dude. Like, oh, what an idiot.
Yes, exactly. So,
it's a racket.
It is indeed. It is indeed. All right, moving down the list here, things to make you feel old to complain about, but the millennials agree with us. Stop speeding in neighborhoods. This was something when I was a kid. I always felt like, who gives a crap? Or I thought it was cool when the Z28 went flying by. But yeah, slow the fuck down in some of these neighborhoods, people. I feel like if I think you're going too fast, you're definitely going too fast.
What's too fast?
Well, I mean, it's a visual gauge, but if you're in any sort of residential type of neighborhood and you're going 50 or above, that's way, way, way too fast.
Oh, yeah. But 35, 40, am I okay?
35, yeah. Getting north of 40 is getting into the danger zone, yes. But again,
my neighborhood, right? Where, like, you go into my neighborhood, houses are a long ways away from each other. No kids are playing in the street, but it takes me, it's 2 miles into my neighborhood. Like, I don't want to go 25.
I think your 45 is okay. But I'm in a, like a cookie cutter residential neighborhood. And people, if I can tell visually that you are going way too damn fast, then you have to be.
I agree with that. You have people backing out of garages. You have kids playing, like, I get that. But for big neighborhoods, I don't want to do 25. I hate it. And there's people in this neighborhood who do it. And I always seem to get stuck behind them. And I know that they belong to the neighborhood because they have a neighborhood sticker on their car. And I just want to run them off the road. I hate it.
Have you ever been in the situation where somebody gives you the stink eye or the finger or gives you the motion to slow down?
Yes.
I've had it happen a couple of times where I stop and I roll my window. I'm like, I'm going 30, bite me. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I get offended if you say I'm going to, no. 30, 35 or whatever. If it's a 20, bite me. I better be going 50 if you're going to start stink eyeing me.
You get pissed because you are prudent and you are reasonable. So, yeah, you're going to lay into them.
Yes. I'm always right. So, I got
It's true.
All right, here's a definitely a modern day problem that people are complaining about and crosses over generations. I am not instantly available at any waking moment just because it is technically possible for me to see your message immediately on my electronic device. If we don't have prior plans to contact, please allow some amount of time to respond and all that. So, yeah, it's this modern problem of email and text and phone calls. And on one level, your phone can't be that far away from you. So why are you taking so damn long?
Yeah, it's interesting because I feel like as I get older, I'm definitely getting away from the mindset of like, no, I do not need to be available 24 hours a day. Like if I get a text and I don't feel like responding to it, obviously if it's, time sensitive or something needs to happen, I'll respond to it. But if I look at it and I'll be like, oh, I could respond to that later, I'm going to do it, dude. Just because I don't want to be available 24/7. Today, I went to a doctor's appointment. I left my phone at the house on accident, and I cannot tell you how naked. I was gone for an hour and 20 minutes. I can't tell you how freaking naked I felt, dude.
Yeah, it gave you anxiety, didn't it?
Yes.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, cell phones in the scope of our lives are relatively new. We never used to be this connected, and it would never have caused anxiety.
Oh, dude, we didn't have the option when we were driving and growing. I drove across the country without a cell phone, like in a beater of a car. That's what I thought on the way there. I was like, oh, man, I don't have my phone. This scares me. But I was like, you never had your phone, dude.
Right. I would be willing to bet that a good amount of people listening to us having this conversation right now have either consciously or unconsciously tapped their pocket or they're checking to see if their phone is near them because they're feeling that anxiety.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And there's a big difference, too. There's a split between personal life and work life. Like, I've had to draw the line in my work life. For years, I was very proud of, I don't care what time of the day it is, I'll respond to your email, I'll reply to your text. And that got way too much. And I've started to draw boundaries on the work life.
Yeah.
The personal life, it's a little different, I mean, there's an inner circle that I think should be on your a little more immediate response list and other people that, not so much. And
yes,
general philosophy is, and you got to know someone a little bit to play this game, but my sense of urgency is the same as yours replying to me. If you reply instantly, I feel obligated to reply instantly. If you sometimes wait an hour or two, I'm not going to be offended by that, but then I won't feel the need to reply.
Yes.
I'll wait an hour or two for you. I'm not trying to stick it to you. I'm just trying to match,
Yeah, match your energy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like you said, there's a certain crowd. Like when I get a text from somebody that I talk to once a month, oftentimes I'll be like, oh, not only do I want to sit down and write back with intention and like think about what I'm going to say. I'm not just like, oh yeah, funny, ha ha ha. But I'll take a little time with it because I know we don't talk that often. But yeah, everyone has that circle of like, obviously, you should always get back to your mother right away as soon as you can. I expect her to get back to me because if not, I'm worried about her that something happened. So I match her energy, Yeah. But then you have your core group of family and friends around you that you're going to write back pretty quickly.
Right. Do you ever feel like if somebody doesn't reply right away, that's actually positive? Like maybe this person's not glued to their device. Maybe they do have more important things happening at the moment.
No, and I should think that, but I don't think that I do, but I should think that.
Yeah, I mean, there is something positive about that somebody may not actually be glued to their device constantly, and maybe that's little words of wisdom there.
Yeah, thank you, Steve. Thank you. We love your words of wisdom.
I appreciate that. All right, so here's an interesting one. These are things that the older generation complain about, and they may feel old, but the millennials, they have our back. But here's a Gen Z one, and I'm seeing this everywhere from the Swifties that we have talked about. Also, my buddy Deadpool, this is a huge thing. The people that make the heart shape with their hands. I don't even know how to do it exactly. There it is. So that has become a huge thing, this making a heart thing with your hands. Does that annoy you? Because apparently us and the millennials feel the same way. Like, screw this heart hand thing already.
I notice it all the time. It doesn't annoy me one way or the other. I think, you remember when we started seeing like everyone got a blanket or a picture that said like live, laugh, love, we went through that phase for a little while. And now I got to the point where I'm like, okay, it's time to donate that to the thrift store. Please get it out of your house, dude. It's cheesy. So maybe that'll happen with the hearts, but I'm not annoyed by it as much as I am. Let's go. People say let's go for everything. Have you noticed it? Let's go. When they're celebrating something, they're like, yeah, let's go. It has become a phenomenon across all of reality shows. People are saying, let's go. Let's go.
I have not noticed that.
You're going to now.
Now it'll stick out. But speaking of Deadpool and doing the thing that he does a lot, one of the slogans or the mantras from this new Deadpool and Wolverine movie was LFG, and they say it throughout the movie. Let's fucking go, and it's in a cool, like, motivational kind of way. But do you think that's the cooler way? Let's fucking go.
Yes, it is constant. Let's go, and I think it started with athletes, but then everyone just started saying it.
It's interesting. Yeah, the whole heart hand thing annoys me, but that does make me feel like a grumpy old man to be like, why are you kids expressing love so much?
Right, yeah. Don't love each other, you pussies.
Exactly. All right, moving on down the list here. Complaints for our generation, the millennials actually agree with. We are not old. If I say something to you, I'd like an acknowledgement that you heard me. I mean, this is a texting thing for sure. Like, I often, can you just give it a thought, just, especially if I'm saying something that's not, that should have some sort of response. But yeah, I have some humans in my life that do that kind of thing too, where I'll make a statement and they don't say anything. And they're like, it wasn't a question. Why would I respond? Well, I made a statement to you. Can you just give me a head nod? Like, acknowledge it in some way, shape, or form? Seems rude to just, it wasn't a question, so I'm not going to say anything in reply.
Yes, I have humans in my life who I also talk to that are within the age range of 11 to 14 that I talk to, and I'll say something that's important that I need acknowledgement of, that you just heard me say that. Hey, when you get home, the door will be unlocked, something like that. I need like a, okay, thanks, or whatever. Don't just sit there. I don't know that you heard me.
Right. Just because it's not a question mark doesn't mean it doesn't require a response.
Communication is a dance, dude. And I don't want to do a solo dance. I'm not a private dancer, dude. I want to talk back and forth. Even if it's just a quick, like, gotcha, thanks.
Yes. Speaking of talking back and forth, the next one on this list, I get so angry when I see people using a handheld phone while they're driving. Get a mount, get a Bluetooth or whatever. And this is a generational thing. As cell phones became popular, we were all holding them in the car. That became widely illegal. Mounting systems, for years I experimented with different kinds of mounts. And now that I do have a modern car, it's Bluetooth, it's Siri, I've got Apple CarPlay. Like, the idea of having to hold my phone anymore, it doesn't matter that it's illegal. It's just dumb and impractical. My car does it for me. And yeah, I occasionally see people still talking on a phone, and I think, how antiquated. And yeah, you don't have a mount, you don't have Bluetooth, you don't have anything to get around that. You're still operating in the year 2000.
100% agree, dude. There's so many ways for you to not have to do that.
Yeah, so you're driving around in a Model T or something.
Yes.
No technology. And yeah, it is dangerous, so knock that shit off.
Yeah.
Speaking of modern devices, I hate dealing with touchscreen keyboards. What do you think about that? There are certainly kiosks and things where I don't like the touchscreen. It's a little fumbly, but those screens are so oily, greasy, nasty. And I guess a keyboard probably would be too, but there's something about the screen I don't like sharing with other people.
Yes, I agree on both accounts. I don't like it. First of all, it is fumbly, and I hate having to push it 30 times to get it to work. But then you can see remnants of people's food and boogers and everything else on that screen. And on an actual keyboard, I know it's there, but you can't see it. So it doesn't bug me as bad, you know?
Yeah. It's harder to fat finger on a traditional keyboard than the touchscreen thing.
It's just more accurate. Like we know the capability is there for touchscreen. I don't need it in my life.
Yep, I agree. And the next thing on the list is kind of tied into that. These are things that older generations are complaining about, makes them feel old, but the millennials are on our side. Tipping. Tipping should be for sit-down meals and restaurants only. I should not be asked to tip for any other goddamn thing. And yeah, all of these touchscreen devices now that all of us, most businesses use, which is convenient for your debit cards and credit cards, they all have the option to tip. Every goddamn thing has become tippable. And, you know, I don't think you should be tipping for everything, but then there's this guilt that settles in where I feel like they're looking at it and judging me.
You know, tipping 20% or 22% at a restaurant is considered like, oh, I had good service. If I have fantastic service, like you added something to my meal, I'll tip 25%, sometimes a little more.
Yeah,
but
it limits you. Yeah.
When I go to get a massage that's $250, you know, I don't feel like I should have to tip 20% to say you did a good job. That's a lot more money. But with things like, today is a great example. I pick up a pizza on my way home. I picked it up, and the tip thing comes up. And I have a little soft spot in my heart for pizza employees because, you know, I know a lot of them run off tips. So I feel like I'm a dick if I don't tip a couple of bucks. What about that guilt that I feel?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel that you should not be having to tip. You're paying for the product. You're taking it out of there. And I don't know, Neo was working at a restaurant over the summer that had those kiosks or the touchscreen tip options. And they claim that they don't see what you tip. It doesn't break it down for them. They have to see the total at the end. And maybe if they're smart enough, they can do the math quickly. But Neo's point was you're overthinking it if you think they're analyzing every transaction and judging you for it. And
interesting. Yeah, that's good to know because I do feel like I'm being judged. I just went and picked my dog up at the boarding. Like, I paid $200 for him basically to spend a day and a half in boarding, and they want a 20% tip on that? Like, I'm not tipping you. I just paid you for a service.
Yes. There's so many things where I feel like, where's this money going towards? What am I paying for if I have to tip above and beyond that?
Right.
And it's weird. Like, I do tip my hair cutter. I don't have a stylist or whatever, but I know they have to pay for their booth or whatever, and they have some overhead, but okay, you're charging me $30. It's you. You're charging me $30. Can't that just be the entire transaction? If you want a buffer, charge me $35 then. Like,
yeah, I get it. Especially in today's modern world, a hairstylist is someone you always tip, your barber or whatever. They're doing a service, and hopefully they did a fantastic job. They didn't just put in the bare basics of it. So yeah, I'll tip them a little, but I don't want to tip 20% on a $200 service. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, I sell radio advertising. No one's ever given me a tip for doing a nice job. They buy a service. They buy a product. Here's what it costs. No one's ever been like, hey, you did a great job selling that to me. Let me give you a little extra.
You should put it on the thing like, hey, and if you want to put a tip on there.
I may have to start trying that. So
yeah,
tipping is taken over everywhere.
It's extortion.
Yeah. Let me do one more, and then I'll throw it over to you. It's no socks for me. I don't like how high the higher ones cut off circulation. So they're saying it's either ankle socks or no socks. They don't want the old school socks that go like up your calf, which are still what my drawer is filled with. But I don't ever roll them up. I always still scrunch them down. So why do I wear those?
It's interesting. It took me a long time to get into ankle socks only because for some reason, I don't know why, but it made me feel like a pussy to wear ankle socks.
Yeah, dainty.
And then when I made the change to ankle socks, I couldn't go back because I did the same thing. I would always just push them down to my ankles. So I was like, why am I doing this? I would prefer to have no socks on. I just don't really like socks unless it's cold outside. But yeah, I'm done with high socks. I do wear them in the compression variety from time to time. which makes me feel real old.
That could make you feel old. There's a lot of athletes, though, in the prime of their lives that are into all that compression sock thing. So
True.
don't beat yourself up too much. But yeah, my drawer is full of those. Someone did buy me ankle socks like 3 years ago that are literally still in my sock drawer in the wrapping, never been clipped or opened. I'm just like, why would I use those? Don't wear socks. Like, I don't know. This
Try
is
'em on.
I wear flip flops like 9 months out of the year, so I really don't
Yeah.
wear socks unless I'm riding the dirt bike or doing something that requires actual shoes on.
Yes. What's funny, dude, is that so my parents, when my dad was still alive, for a while had a place down in Arizona that they would go visit, as snowbirds. They had a little sale that they put out in the parking lot, this huge sale that you could go buy all these various items at. And every time I went down there, my dad would take me to this thing. And they sold in bulk ankle socks, and on the ankle in big letters it says USA. Okay. And after my dad died, my mom was like, you want these socks? And I was like, sure. And now I can't get rid of them because they remind me of my dad. But when Trump got elected, I was like, I feel weird wearing these because I feel like USA. Like I felt like a mega, so I didn't do it.
Yeah, that's one of these things. I'm hoping when Trump loses this election, as we're hoping he will, that can we take back the frickin' flag already? I hate that they have co-opted it because
Yes.
I feel the same way. Anytime I see a house or certainly a vehicle with an American flag on it, I know it's them. So yeah, it makes me not want to be as patriotic, and that seems wrong.
Yes.
In my house with an American flag. I've always wondered, will people think I'm some Trumper because I got a flag in my house?
Right. I think as long as we steer clear of like the Let's Go brand and stuff like that, we'll be all right with the American flag. But
I don't plan on putting a Kamala Harris flag on my car because I'm not in a cult. So
it's funny, dude, because Rachel ordered a Veterans for Kamala yard sign.
Yeah.
And I was like, she was so excited for it. And I was like, whew.
Dangerous, right?
You think? I was like, it just makes us kind of a target in this neighborhood, don't you think?
Yeah.
She was like, fuck that. And I was like, yeah, fuck that at the ballot box. But like our house and like them doing stuff to us. Like I got contractors working for me right now. I know which way they politically lean. When they pull into my house, do they need to see, Veterans for Kamala? Like, I just don't know that I need to share it with everybody,
It's sad that it's become risky, but it really has. It's like we were talking about Taylor Swift. Like when you put your political opinions out there in this day and age, you're opening yourself up to harassment or even physical violence. And I guess maybe one thing in your car, because you're out mobile, you can outrun someone. But yes, I won't put a political sign in my yard because I feel like you're really putting yourself in a vulnerable position in this day and age with how the vitriol from the right and the MAGA crowd. Like, it's just dangerous.
It sucks because you know what? I can't tell you how many houses that I've come across that have a Trump 2024 sign in. Not a lot of them, but when I see them, like I don't feel the inclination to go like kick it or piss on it or steal it or do something to their house. I just think to myself, douchebag,
Right. It is a douchebag lives here sign. Like I've just duly noted, you're the asshole in the neighborhood, so I would like to say though, your sign, like Veterans for Harris, like you got to be a real douchebag to go screw with a veteran as opposed to just a regular Harris sign.
Well, dude, you happened to be a part of it on Facebook when Rachel posted that Veterans for Kamala thing on there. And one of my oldest friends that I know commented on her status and was like, disgusting. Good luck with that. I was like, are you kidding me? Who says that to a veteran, dude?
Yeah. That's supposed to be one of those universally understood protected classes.
Yeah.
Whatever the veteran says, like, let them say it. They serve to protect the country in whatever capacity. Like, yeah, it would be like disabled people for Harris. Like, don't go picking on them. They're a special little group. They're allowed to have their opinions. And
yes.
Yeah, but no, it's a real harsh reality that, political signs put a target on you.
Well, as we go over your list, Stephen, I see the other, what are they, Millennials who has our back?
Yes.
Millennials. I appreciate the millennials having our back because there are signs that we're getting older. But like we discussed before we kicked off the topic, like I don't know that they're all bad. Like some of them are good. I wish I had some disposable income when I was 20 years old, you know? Sure. I wish that I had, formed bonds that were so strong. Like there's a lot of good things about getting older. Here are some signs that you're officially old, okay? And I don't know what officially means, but I just want to see how many of these that we go through that you might say, oh, yeah, well, I'm there.
I'm betting not the majority. As we discussed, I know we're in that age demographic where, yes, we are full-blown adults, but I don't feel like it. So I'm curious how many of these things I identify with, because I bet I reject most of them.
Okay. The first one on the list of signs that you are officially old is when you start having tech troubles. Nowadays, like figuring out some of the latest gadgets, like that gets hard. When you start having those tech troubles, you're officially old, Steve.
I would agree with that, and I don't have any tech problems.
Okay.
I'm completely good with it all, I feel like. Although I have had my kids explain like TikTok to me and some other newer apps, but it's not like, how do you download an app and how do you type on this stupid keyboard or something? Like, I'm not hip on TikTok or Reddit, so explain to me how those things work, which does make me feel old, but I'm still hip enough to have a device and want to be on TikTok or Reddit.
Right. Yes. And if at the very least, like we're just slowly working into some of these, like, my dad, I remember before he died was like, that was when cell phones and like texting, you were still using the 1, 2, 3, 4 buttons to text and stuff. And like, he would constantly call me, how do you do this, Nikki? What's this? What's that? And on one hand, I was like, good for you for like trying to get involved in it all and being able to do it. But you had some tech troubles, dude. I mean, he had a lot of tech troubles.
As soon as I start calling my kids for how do I work my TV or my new phone or whatever, then I will acknowledge I'm officially old. But nope, I'm pretty good there, as are you.
Yeah, I think so. This one, I can't say that I haven't had these. These are signs that you're officially old. And this one in particular is health conversations. I've definitely had more health conversations, I think, the older I've got.
Yeah, but that's necessity, man. I mean, the cars are getting old. We got to do some maintenance on these things. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sad that we have to have colonoscopies and things like that are a sign of getting older, but I don't know. And maybe that's one I'll kind of concede on, but.
Well, we can also look at it like a badge of honor, right? That I've gotten to this point. Yeah. So what if I have to service the car once in a while? She's still running like a champ.
Exactly. I have a classic dirt bike. That thing's badass, but it's 20-something years old. So, yeah, you got to do a little maintenance to keep it running and cool. But, I'm trying to keep myself on the track as well.
Our moms are the same age, right? 78, 77, 79.
I was like 2 years older. Yeah. Really.
Oh, so they definitely, I know with my mom, like she'll talk a lot more about people in her life that you got together with so-and-so. How were they? Oh, well, they're having this done and they have to go in to get a hip or, she's talking health stuff all the time. That's 78 years old. 48 years old. We just talk about servicing the machine. I mean, that's all we're doing.
And we're talking about it so we can still ride dirt bikes and bang like porn stars and go to concerts all night long. Like, trying to maintain this prime machine, not just keep it in a museum.
That's exactly right, dude. Love your temple. You only get one of these bad boys, and it's got to be a balance, right? As I smoke cigarettes, I am loving this temple, but I'm just trying to get as much wear out of it as I possibly can while still having a good time.
Sometimes defiling our temple is half the fun. You just got to be able to clean it up the next day. That's all.
Sometimes defiling her temple is also fun. So keep that in mind.
Exactly.
What about an early bedtime? These are things that show you that you have crossed over to officially old.
I struggle with that. I've been a night owl my whole life. In the rock band days, it was common to be out till 3 or 4. Starting in radio, when you and I first met, I was doing overnights. That was not hard for me at all. So I don't know if it's to my benefit or not, but I have kept my sort of late night schedule. And there are some days where I got to get up to get the kids to school or whatever, where it's a little painful to get up at 6. And
yeah,
part of me thinks maybe I should adjust that a little. But I don't know if that's a sign of getting old. That's just more of a practical issue to me. I just need my 6 to 8 hours.
What's your average, like 6 or 8?
I would say 8 is probably my average, give or take.
That's great, dude. I got to get into a better habit of sleep. And I told you I went in for this sleep study thing, and I already did it one time. This is to see if I could possibly have sleep apnea. And they put a machine on you so they can see if you stop breathing while you're sleeping.
Yeah.
And I took the test, and they said, "Oh, we didn't get enough data." It was like, "What do you mean?" She was like, "You only slept for 4 hours. We need at least 6." I was like, "Oh, okay."
So you went to a doctor saying, I'm not sleeping through the night. And they did a study and said, you're not sleeping through the night, so we can't do the study.
Exactly. Yeah, it seems off to me. But I went back today. I got that thing, and she was like, "Just get 6 to 8 hours." I was like, "Oh, I won't get 8. I will not. I'll try and get 6." I mean, what is try? Like, I'm going to try. I usually fall asleep on the couch a little bit at night,
Yeah.
I'm going to try not to do that so I can just go to bed.
Can you drug yourself? I mean, does that break the rules or something?
No, I could. Yeah, I could take a pill.
Okay.
Maybe I should take some melatonin or something.
Yeah, I mean, you need to get some accurate results because you do seem to have a legitimate problem. You're up at all hours of the night, and never getting 8 hours, that's definitely not good. I grew up with a friend that even in high school, this dude was, he's like, I did the math. And if you sleep for X number of hours a night, that's, 20 years of your life that you're just sleeping. And he was like, I want to live my life and enjoy it. So he would intentionally only sleep like 5 hours a night, which I think will catch up to you at some point. But he had a mantra about it. And I was just reading an article this morning in a Huffington Post that the headline was Olivia Rodrigo, who's a modern age pop star. She sleeps 13 hours a night.
That doesn't surprise me.
I couldn't force myself to sleep 13 hours. But then there's what my buddy was talking about. I would do that math. That's over half your day. I cannot sleep half of my life. That's 60% of your life you're sleeping. That does seem like you're wasting life.
See, it's funny because I could not do that. Just physically, I couldn't do it. But Rachel, Rachel works real hard throughout the week and even sometimes on the weekends. When she has the opportunity to sleep, that girl can sleep like no one I've ever seen. If she goes to bed at midnight on a weekend, nothing to do the next day, there's been a time where I finally went into the bedroom at 5 p.m. and was like, "Are you still alive?"
Right. That was me in high school. I will tell you, there have been days like that where I'm kid free or whatever. It's Saturday night. And I'm just like, I'm sleeping until noon on Sunday. Like, I'm just going to I can't do it. My body just will not let me. By 7, 8 a.m. Like, I haven't slept past 9 a.m. in years. I don't think I could do it if you challenged me $1 million.
Yeah, that's one sign that you're officially getting older anyway, because your body clock does start to change,
Yeah, I'll concede that one.
This is a list of things that make you officially old. The next one for you is memory lapses. How you doing on that, dude?
Oh, that's a great question. And I wonder, what is normal aging? That your memory's not as good. What is just normal? Like when I was 20, I still didn't remember everything. And what is stoner induced, Because I've always been worried about that. Throughout our talk radio career, it's one of the reasons I won't ever smoke pot before the show, that I just feel like it dulls me mentally. But I have been smoking for a good chunk of my life. And sometimes I trip on my tongue. We just posted a clip the other day where I said gas was 10 cents a nickel. And,
That's funny, dude.
Yeah, and I immediately corrected myself and rolled with it. But I started to wonder, like, is that me getting old? Is that me smoking too much pot? Or is it just the reality that people that speak publicly trip on their tongue every now and again?
Sure. Look, we spend a lot of time talking comparatively to the average person, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna trip up. I don't notice it in you, to be honest with you. Like, I think you still seem very mentally sharp, and most of the time can find your words and enunciate your words properly. I've struggled with it, and I have taken different vitamins because I feel my memory getting worse, and I feel myself having to search for words longer than I used to. I definitely feel that.
Yeah. But what is it? You and I have been smoking pot the same length, basically. So, yeah. Is it age? Is it pot? Is it just that human beings sometimes forget things, I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, well, they say memory lapse is recalling a name or a place, like oh, God, where were we? That type of stuff. I don't see a lot of that in you. I don't have a lot of that issue. Like, I either remember, oh, yeah, we saw him at the Kingdom, or I don't remember at all. Like, sometimes somebody will say something to me and I'll think, like, I don't remember that at all. You were there, dude. We had a blast. I don't remember that at all.
Yeah. What I've been getting caught up on a lot recently that really bums me out because I really never felt like I used to be this way. There'll be a song on the radio or something, and they're like, who's that band? I'm like, I know it. We play it on our radio station, but like, it's stuck there. Who was that actor in Cheers? He was the bartender. I'm like, of course I know who you're, Sam Malone, but what's the actor's name? Like, and then, of course, 10 minutes later, it's just like Ted Danson. God damn it. How did I not know that was I know it's in there.
It comes to
Am I getting old? Is it bong resin or just how humans are? I don't know.
Think about this, dude. When we worked at that oldie station, I used to be able to have competitions with idiots on the phone about, like, here, we're going to play 2 seconds, one note of a song, and we're going to name that song. Like, both of us could do it like that, like that, like that. Years have gone by. We have so much more knowledge in the vault now that it takes a little bit more time to recall where it is,
That is a valid point. I sometimes wonder, like, if I've now memorized that, Carson City is the capital of Nevada, now something had to leave my brain to store that piece of information. Like, can't keep it all up there.
Right.
So I know my limitations. My notes on my phone are full of things that I know I got too much going on in my life. I'm not going to remember them. Even doing this talk show, I got a whole list of notes here where if you and I are talking and I think of some point, I know I'm not going to remember it. So I know that limitation. So I'll jot a note so that when it comes to my turn to talk, I can reference back, because I hate it when I lose a thought. And I'm like, I wanted to make a point, and now he's throwing it to me, and I'm just sitting here. I hate it.
It is. It's the worst feeling. I thought for a long time today, damn it, I got to mention the fact that Phil Donahue died today. Phil Donahue. We say goodbye to Phil Donahue. I kept telling myself, write it down, dude. You're not going to remember it. And the only way I did is through this conversation.
Right. But on the other side of that coin, I feel like you only live once. I'm going to take a few bong hits here and there. If I can't remember Ted Danson's name, fuck it. What do I?
It's all about balance, dude. It's all right.
Right. All right. Give me one more thing to see if we're officially old or not, because I think we're doing pretty well so far.
And I don't know if this next one really affects us too much, because I always feel like we've been like this to some degree, but comfort over fashion. Like we've definitely both got our own fashion style, but it's comfort. It's comfort, for the most part.
Well, see, that's the problem with me, though. It's always been comfort over fashion.
Yes.
Although some of my fashion is comfortable, the ripped jeans and flannels and T-shirts.
It's exactly what I'm saying, dude.
Right. But yeah, I've always been more on the air side of comfort, so I can't say that that's a sign of getting old for me. But I kind of feel like I was saying earlier, when I compare myself to other dads and stuff, like, I don't know, sometimes I feel like maybe I dress a little dirtbag-ish, but that's why I'm the cool dad. So
that's own it. Yes, just own it, dude. We are who you are.
Yes. Kennedy the other day said something so funny where I was just like, why do I even bother with fashion? I had told you that when I came home from Neo's graduation, that she looked at what I was wearing and was like, you wore that to the graduation?
Right.
And it made me feel like I was underdressed or something. I was wearing a nice T-shirt, a brand new hat, but I had on these blue shorts. She told me the other day that she thought the blue shorts were swim trunks. So she was like, you wore, in her mind, she's saying, like, you wore a swimsuit to a, was it at the beach? Like, why would you do that? But here's the thing. Why do I own these blue shorts? So like a year and a half ago, when I was with somebody different, I got to meet her ex-husband. And, I was taller and hipper and cooler and everything else. But the guy had this freaking fashion sense where he was wearing these like bright green shorts and pink shoes and a black shirt. And I was just like, yeah, he does look kind of more hip than I do. So I went to an actual department store and I bought Ralph Lauren brand new bright blue shorts, very hip, very trendy blue shorts.
Right.
But then here I am with my girlfriend and she thinks they're swim trunks. So I'm like, why do I even bother with fashion? No one seems to understand what fashion is.
Why did you think they look like swim shorts? Just because they were bright?
Yeah, they were bright blue. I mean, I guess I can see that they could look like swimming shorts, but no, they're hip, modern. That's what's hip in fashion right now, these bright colors on men.
Yeah, did you see all the Ralph Lauren at the Olympics, dude? I mean, it's what everyone was wearing. So I give you kudos, dude. Listen, you're not going to please everybody all the time. So just do what you feel looks good, dude. Feel comfortable, feel great.